Our symphony's finale has alphabetically landed at just the right moment with Tom Taft, 1760. Retiring after 29 years of steadfast service to GA as CFO, COO, business manager, track and field program innovator, pole vaulting pro, all-comers track meet founder and president, pace boa, health benefits trust legend, and fitness preacher-in-chief. Tom's final weeks at the Academy after 29 years of dedicated service epitomize his entire career as jongleur extraordinaire, extraordinary juggler, while he continues at all hours of the day and night to tend to families who have seriously depended on him to make the dream of a GA education financially feasible for their children. He and his gifted team have simultaneously worked feverishly to fulfill the gargantuan requirements necessary to process a multi-million-dollar federal COVID loan, as well as the small task of amassing hundreds of pages of financial data and school history to compete for tens of millions of dollars of bonds, while building his house from scratch, while planting the seeds for a potential political campaign, while keeping up with the latest and greatest among his growing brood, his beloved family, while somehow finding time to treat even the children of his business office colleagues as his own. Jongleur extraordinaire indeed. Beyond Tom's enviable skill as CFO and COO and balancing the budget, building the school's financial reserves, overseeing our 126 acres of amazing from his perfect perch over Connor Quad, and leading with yes whenever it comes to new ideas and initiatives around campus, Tom is equally famous for his talents as danseur extraordinaire, coureur extraordinaire, and imitateur extraordinaire, danseur. If you haven't seen Tom dance, well, there's still time. He was born to boogie and even moonwalk. Coureur, Tom's legacy in founding our track and field program, designing the track complex, and hosting our all-comers meets is as mighty as his impact on the business office. Imitateur, Tom's impressions of famous and infamous political figures alike, ranging from JFK to Nixon, are all the rage among those who know him best. And speaking of, let's hear the inspiring words of those with whom Tom has worked the closest. From a trustee, quote, "In all of my years of finance, I have never met someone as passionate and loyal to his work and his organization as Tom. He lived and breathed his work at GA, and still needs to for another 3 weeks. And he always gave the numbers a human element to ensure every decision was grounded in what was best for GA and GA families. From his business office colleagues, quote, Tom always sees the good in people. Even though he's crazy busy all the time, any time I go into his office or call him, he never makes me feel like I'm interrupting. He truly cares about people." Quote, "I've never met a more caring person than Tom. I have never had a boss who cares about me and my family personally. And he is passionate about almost everything. Tom's praise comes not just from current employees, but from far and wide as well. In fact, one parent, and this is not a joke, Sue, you don't have to get up and dance. One parent who has relied on Tom for so many years to help navigate the financial aid process was even inspired to compose an original folk song just for the occasion of Tom Taft's retirement. Hit it.
Some people say a man is made out of mud. Well, I know a man who bleeds red and blue blood. Muscle and brain, straw hat and a vest. A mind that's stronger than all of the rest. I've spent 13 years, and what did I get? Another day, wiser end, don't you forget. College, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe another year to the man from Ohio. I came one morning for my first interview. I met Mr. Taft and his fine retinue. First came Maria, then there was Val. Conversation was easy. Can you sign me up now? 29 years, and what have you done? Built a new track that is second to none. Balanced the books, forged a way to extend deserving students their financial aid. I came one morning, it was drizzling rain. Mr. Taft, can you see me? I'm in terrible pain. My means have dwindled, that I must confess. You smiled right back and said, we lead with a yes. The next 20 years, what do they bring? A 92 Olympian just doing his thing. Hey, master, don't you call him, 'cause who knows when he'll wake up one morning as the mayor of Walden. If you see Tom coming, better sit up with pride. A man with a purpose that he just can't hide. A blueprint here, a loving family there, a great big dream as he'll eventually share. 2 months left for to retire. That man with a purpose and he still has a fire. Suddenly a storm, a flash and a bolt. Here comes Mr. Taft with his one last fault. We've spent 13 years, and what did we get? Another day wiser, and don't you forget, Kyle, don't you call us, 'cause we can't go. We owe another year to the man from Ohio.
Hold on, sorry. While we were enjoying that original composition, I received an urgent message from Germantown Academy Security. It's not the Locust, but one final guest couldn't resist being here today to toast Tom Taft, 1760.
Matter of fact, I do want to thank Rich for inviting me here this evening. It's a real pleasure to be back. I do have to comment on one thing though, Rich. There used to be a chair and a check. What happened to the check?
We paid for your flight.
Yeah. Well, I'm delighted to be here to speak a few words about Tom, but also to congratulate all of you who are retiring today. You're truly a Hall of Fame of GA. And I have, sitting up there listening to all the talks, I've just had so many wonderful memories. So congratulations. Each of you lives in my life, still alive in my life, still alive in the life of my children. My children still sing your songs. Great. And they're 40, 43, and 40. So that's quite an impact. Anyway, Mr. Taft. Inimitable Mr. Taft. I mean, when you think about Tom, how do you, I'm trying to think of, with most people you say, oh yeah, that person reminds me of this person or that person. You just can't do that with Tom. He doesn't remind you of anybody. He's Tom, right? He's a 100% original. And he and I spent 24 years working hand in glove together. And I've seen so many instances, Tom, of your love for the school. And with each of them, and all of them, I see running through them a common thread, kind of the common core of your humanity. And that is that you have a heart that's bigger than your head. And your head's, you're almost always the smartest guy in the room. Present company excluded, of course. Well, I give you Craig Merrow. Maybe Tony Garvin, but that's pretty good company, right? Anyway, that interplay, the complementary interplay between your heart and your head is what sets you apart, I think, in the work you've done at Germantown Academy. 2 examples. I recall Tom dressed in his business clothes, dressed up for the day, impulsively dashing outside into the pounding rain and roaring winds of Hurricane Floyd, grabbing a shovel maintenance had left and some sand on the ground that they'd left, and furiously shoveling sand into cloth bags and throwing it against the bottom of the door back here, the delivery area to the art center to keep the floodwaters from coming in. I recall Tom, many a late afternoon, early evening, walking by your office and seeing you passionately hunched over a table, materials in front of you, tutoring low-income students for the SAT. And a couple times I was fortunate enough to see the joyful celebration when those scores came back as you wished. As I said earlier, you're often the smartest person in the room, but your head is a secondary organ. You lead with your heart, and then you use your mind to make it all come right. And it almost always does. And it almost always does because you put at the center of all of your financial planning, all of your decision making, all of your volunteering of free time, what's best for the student. How fortunate we have all been. How fortunate Rich and I, especially, have been to have a teacher cleverly disguised in a businessman's clothes. You, Tom, have made as much a difference in the history of GA as anyone who's ever worked here, a positive difference. Working quietly behind the scenes. We rarely know what you're doing, but those, because you're, well, you rarely know what you're doing. What you're doing day to day. But I can assure you it's always been in the best interest of all of us. So congratulations, Tom.
For a watercolor, and we did. Oh my gosh, there's Tom's face. Look at that. That's so cool. Thank you for that. Tom asked for a watercolor of the school. It's great. He got that. But what also happened was that Audrey Schnurm and our team at the Goodman House called, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of people to see if we could collect money, because Tom cares about the money, and in his honor name the pole vault pits. And so we now have the Tom Taft Class of 1760 pole vault pit, in addition to your watercolor. Tom, congratulations.
I'm talking to Craig. After we said it was a done deal, we also said, Craig, you're the guy that could change this. I didn't know what was about to happen. I didn't understand it. And you saved GA. And I thank you so many times that I thank you today.
Our program, kidding. My sincerest thanks to all of our speakers and our singer today for saluting our 25-year and retirement celebrants with your whole heart. We are grateful for you. Please give it up for the speakers and singers today. My gratitude to Beth, to Aaron, to Rachel, to Carla, to the Goodman House creative team, the whole maintenance, security, and facilities team for all of your hard work and making today's ceremony special. In closing, please rise if you're able and if you would like, as we give, that's a hint, as we give one final toast to our 8 magnificent retirees written in the meter of our beloved alma mater. Hail our 8 retirees, to you we now give praise. Cherished are the memories, our spirits you did raise. May your glorious retirement be filled with love and light and lead you on to happiness, a future oh so bright. Cheers, friends, and thank you for being here today. All the best.